when daylight savings is off, when they don't have it on the same day. So for all of you in Europe, it'll be next week also. Will be 1 hour earlier for all of you in Europe. So do make a note of that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, anybody want to say where they're calling in from?
I'm calling from Denmark, and then I'm preparing my meal, so I will go.
Palm Beach, Florida.
Hello, Florida. I heard a couple Denmark in there. Both
I
leaning.
am from Denmark, yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Minnesota, USA.
Hey,
I will stop
Jeff,
video
welcome
here.
back.
Ontario, Canada.
Hey there, Donna.
Clearwater, Florida.
Hey, more Floridians. I can see it's sunny in the background.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Great. Well, we are actually going to work at getting started. So I will mute people so we can get going. But a reminder here for next week that for those of you in Europe, we've had daylight savings in the US, so we are following the US time. So we will be on for Central European time. It is 1700 hours. Those of you in the UK, it'll be 1600 hours. One last week, and then after daylight savings, we'll be back to your regular time also. So wonderful. I'm so glad a lot of you have got the message. Some people haven't been able to get that, but all good. Okay, so happy Wednesday to you. It is exciting to be able to do these every week. I learn so much out of this every week. And sometimes you hear some of the golden nuggets from different leaders. Sometimes you hear from the corporate. This week, you're going to hear from one of the companies that we acquired through Zinzino. It's one of the first companies we acquired. It is that company of Zurvita. And this partner happened to be the very first partner in Zurvita. So think about being the top of the company, building that business, and then they get acquired by Zinzino. So let's find out his story and how he got into the direct selling, what he's learned about the time, and the transfer to Zinzino, and what the future is going to bring, what he thinks the future is going to bring. So I am super proud to have on here the fantastic, our Black ambassador at the moment. He's working hard. He's building and building. He doesn't have time to be on this call, but our Black ambassador, Brad Murray. Hey, Brad.
Arla, thank you. I'm a big fan of your show.
Well, you know, Brad, it's kind of fun. I find it fun when I have some of the top leaders jumping on the calls, and I feel honored. Now, I heard you speak. I didn't know who you were until we were at, it was the Zurvita annual meeting. It was the first meeting where we were finding out we were going to be merging. And so we had quite a few Zinzino people there and all those Zurvita people, Zinzino and Zurvita, and we talked about that marriage. We talked about how when you are getting married and you don't know the other family, and we all just clicked. It was so much fun. And then you had a speech up there that I was just like, who is this guy? He knows his stuff. He's passionate. He's doing this. And then I found out you were the very first partner, and you've been doing direct sales for a while. So can we go back and you just say, how did you get into the just direct sales industry and when?
Yeah, it's everybody's got that story, right? When they were kind of like first introduced, and I've been living on straight commission selling since I was 22, and I was highly motivated, and I was doing well in that, but I had an older guy that I knew. He's about 10 years older than I, and he was like a super mentor to me. He was just a class guy in every area of his life. And he called me one day and he goes, let's have coffee. I want to show you something. And he talked to me about the difference between, making 100% of what you do by yourself or leveraging yourself, recruiting, training, building a team, making wholesale commissions where you make less but off more people. And because of that, you have no limits. And then he started to show me, income stories. And then he introduced me. We had another coffee meeting with a guy who was living that life. And he was with a company that's today called Primerica. He's one of the top earners. And he, again, painted me this picture of wholesale commissions versus just me. You sell, you make a big chunk commission, and it's nice, but there's no residual to it. It's limited because it's just me versus the picture. And so that meeting and that picture downloaded into me to the point where I've been pursuing that, loving that, building that. My whole life has been consumed and continues to this
So
day.
how old were you when that mentor
That
was
happened.
talking to you?
I was 26.
You were 26 years old.
Yeah, just about 4 years ago. So I'm still learning.
I love it. But how many years ago is that if we can just
Yeah,
hit?
it is a few. I'll fast forward. So I spent 3 years in that company.
Mhm.
And the one thing about that company is probably kind of like an Amway today. It's like big company, great, but everybody that I called already knew about it. And it was really hard to recruit somebody that hadn't heard about it because they were already big, been around a long time, well established, right? And so in the midst of that, 3 years into that, this guy calls me and says, there's this new company in town, and I want you to meet their top person. I said, okay, I'll meet this guy. So I meet this guy, and I come from this big, mature company with mature leadership, like Orion and his, the big leaders in the company. They're just a different level leadership, right? And so I'm used to seeing and hearing from that, and I'm looking at a guy here that's the top guy, and he's just smoking a cigarette with a tank top, driving an old car. And I'm like, you know what? I think I could come in here and like be somebody. And so I made that transition into a company called Relive, and it was a nutritional. And in the meantime, Carla, another divine thing happened in my life that affected me forever. I was pursuing how to build this kind of business. I mean, I saw where people were building teams, and it's the people who built the biggest teams, had the most success. But it's like, how do they do that? And I came from this selling thing to where I could sell the product or sell the plan or whatever it was, but recruiting was another world. So that's why I spent 3 years in apprenticeship in the industry with Primerica. But then when I got into Relive, I read a book by Mark Yarnell that completely opened up my world to me. And is about recruiting, and it was a vision. And he said he had this vision of recruiting 100 distributors for his business. And I said, that's it. That's what I need. That's my guideline. That's my path. So I made a list of 100 people in my office. And I said, I'm going to go recruit 100 distributors to sell this product. And I never made it to 100, but it had turned into tens of thousands of people.
Wow.
And I had my first win, and I went to the top of the company and all that, right? So I saw the fruit, and I got to travel. They'd take their leaders, and we'd travel to different markets around the country and around the world. And so I got to travel and do these. It's a wonderful season. It's like a 10-year window for me.
Okay, so that was 10 years. Well, and
That's
you
a
were the
10.
top of the company. So how did you go from that company? Did you go, was that the change to Zurvita?
No, I tell you, I went through a divorce, and
Okay.
I gave that business to my wife, and I started from zero with another company called Ameriplan where we sold dental plans.
Wow.
Nobody's got a good dental. It's like a little expensive thing, but I started from zero. Labor Day weekend, 1997. And here's a great story about what you think about, what you focus on, what you talk about from day one. Day one, Labor Day of 1997, I was in my office. I started to call people and say, "Hey, what do you got do you have a good dental plan?" They'd say no, and I'd say, "Well, nobody's got a good dental." And so I'm selling dental plans, and these things stay on the books forever. And right now, I'm on track to $250,000 a year in reoccurring income from dental plans. I hadn't sold one plan. I hadn't recruited one person. And I said that, hard telling how many times I said that. Okay. I'm on track to $250,000 a year in residual income from these dental plans.
Because that was your plan. That's what you were doing. So you're saying the truth.
Check this out. The 36th month, my residuals crested whatever that monthly number was to where it hit 250,000 annually, and it continued to climb north from there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the testimony about saying it, and on the 36th month that thing manifested.
Wow.
So that brings us to Zurvita, right?
Okay, so you're doing the dental plans
Yeah, I'm doing the dental plan.
but you
Okay.
you were making money in that. Why what
Yeah.
happened? What were your goals?
I tell you what happened. I'm cold call prospecting off a list of opportunity seekers. I'm in Plano, Texas, and this guy agrees to meet me at a Starbucks. We'd never met each other. We meet, there's a click. He's a pastor, and I mean, we just started to really talk a lot, right? And he wasn't interested in the business, but I started to, see him about ministry stuff. He calls me one night, 11 o'clock at night. I'm putting gas in my car, and he says, "Hey, you know those guys you're selling those dental plans for?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been here 10 years. Been here 10 years. I know them well." He says, "Well," he says, "the Lord told me those guys are looking to sell the company." And he said, "But don't worry about it." He goes, "I've got a funding source if you want to talk to them, and they can take you and your buddy." I had a buddy I was building this thing with. "We can take you and your buddy, and you can just start something else."
Okay. Oh, no, that sounds a little bit weird. But so it's a pastor who says this, so you kind of
That guy was one phone call away from $20 million to start Zurvita. So we left
Really?
and started Zurvita.
So you started Zurvita.
Well, I brought the funding, but this buddy of mine, he and his wife, they had this passion to like run a company. So I'm like, "Hey, you guys can do the running the company thing. I just want to be in the beginning of the field and build the field thing." And I said, "But you better be careful with that corporate thing because you never know." And sure enough, down the road, the board of directors, they're not here anymore.
Okay.
So that happened in the midst of all this stuff. But anyway, it's just crazy stories, right? I tell you that to say one divine appointment from a Mark Yarnell book opened the world to me on how to build an organization.
Mm-hmm.
One meeting at a Starbucks with a guy, he was one phone call away from $20 million and starting a company. And so 10 years in Relive to build that, 10 years in the dental plan, 10 years in Zurvita, kind of thing, whatever.
Okay. So before you go on to anything else, just want to hear. So
we did not plan this interview, did we?
no, and that's okay. I love to learn is right along with everybody else. And now I'm like, okay, So you're doing the dental plan and you hear from a pastor that this is going to close. So, but there's another opportunity here.
Hey,
And
I had close to $500,000 a year coming in from dental plans, and I signed one form to release me from that business to start Zurvita from zero.
ouch. I mean, that it sounds again, you
I
got
started, I
crazy
started,
times in your story. These are like crazy part, the crazy part, the crazy part. Okay. So now you're gonna start Zurvita, but it's a brand new company. You're the first in it.
brand new, yeah.
Brand new.
So,
Okay.
but by this time I'd been doing the business 20 years. So, I had good resources of people that we'd met through 20 years.
Mhm.
So we put the team together. The problem is we didn't have a product. So we kept jumping from product to product to product to product to product for 3 years. Nothing got traction until they put together Zeal.
Mhm.
Zeal. Zeal.
But loving zeal, everybody loving zeal.
And so that became the thing too with Zinzino. I mean, the marriage between Zeal and the oil
Mhm.
is,
Okay, so you're building Zurvita, and
yeah,
Zurvita's actually been quite successful.
yeah.
And I think not only is Zeal successful, but the people that are in Zurvita, that has been probably for me was what I can see is the biggest plus of Zinzino. That has been their forte is such a good, wonderful, good group of quality people that are just you just know them, like them, trust them right away.
You
Um,
know, the thing, there was a culture to Zurvita.
mhm.
It was a faith-based company, and we attracted faith-based people. And the product did wonders for their health, their vitality, their longevity. And so the fact that, we all had that common ground, faith-based, helping people. And so we rocked along with that, but God had a bigger plan.
Mm.
And that was the merger and introduction. Of course, Andy knew Orion. That's kind of how the introduction happened. But there had to be a light. It had to be God's plan.
Okay, so now I know Andy, he was a customer for 6 years, so he already believed in Zinzino.
Yeah.
Now I was with Zinzino from the start where we had coffee and we were told about the oil, and I was like, okay, well, what? It sounds like snake oil. It's like weird. So what was your first impression of hearing about Zinzino? Did you have like, were you open to it because you know different things, or were you kind of like, what? What was your impression?
It was weird because um, in the beginning, I mean, Andy kind of called me. He kind of told me something, but he didn't tell me something. And so I didn't know what he was thinking or doing. So I didn't go to he was promoting a meeting in Dallas or something. It's like, I honestly didn't know what he was really talking about. So I just didn't go. And
Mhm.
then it started to progress more and more. And the more it progressed, and then Jay started to open up to me about it. And so that's when I was like, it's like, well, I think I need to meet this Orient guy. That's what I need to do.
Okay.
And so I'm in Sarasota, and Jay is in Orlando. And there's something about, so I drove to Orlando to see Jay about something. And while we were there, he's like, hey, Orion is in Miami. He goes, do you want to drive down there and meet him? And I'm like, okay. And so I drove back to Sarasota, got a change of clothes, drove to Miami to meet this Orion guy. And, but then the rest is, I mean, he's probably the most impressive person in the industry I've ever met. And that says a lot.
You've been around for many years, not just a few, like you said. It's been around for some time, and I didn't do another company, so this is what I am used to, and so many people have told me you have no idea how lucky you are that this is your first company. But I have heard that people in the industry, they call Orion the professor because he's always been the visionary. And even every time we hear him talk anything about what his plan is for the future, it's been crazy. So what impressed you about Orion?
He's a trip, man. I mean, he's a next level. I think he'll be the Elon Musk of preventative health. I honest to God do, because he is a next level guy. And he says something about, and it's so true, all these other companies, they plateau where the leadership, their dream board gets all checked. And that's what happened in our last company too. The owners had very definitive dreams. And when they reached all those dreams, the company did plateau there. There just weren't dreams past that. It makes so much sense. Orion is, because of the 10 million customers, the 100 million customers, because of that vision, and because he's not affected by the money.
Mm-hmm.
He's goal and vision driven.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so unique. And I mean, he's got a good team. So you got to, when you're evaluating a company, number one, they had 20 years of history. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And then being public, you got to, that's all checks a lot of boxes. And then the product and the evidence of the story, Carla, to me. So the leadership checked out, but the storyline, and to this day, every day, what really is on the forefront of my mind is that I cannot believe we've got something that affects chronic inflammation like this product does.
Mm-hmm.
And we prove it through a test. And so every conversation I'm in, they can talk about whatever they want to talk about. I talk to a lot of docs. I'm building a network of docs, and they're like, yeah, we test, we do. And I'm just like, they sell. I'm like, but doc, if I buy this from you, how am I going to know if it works? And they're just, I mean, for me personally, see, we're the world leader in personalized testing. They might have something that's got some clinical studies and it's supposed to do this, supposed to do that, all these things they're supposed to do. But what's it going to do for me? How am I going to know if it works for me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this personalized testing with the product that we know works. And my gosh, I mean, I love sending people to zinzinotest.com and just having them go to balance test and click a country and look at all the tests that have been done and what the first test was and what the second test was. I mean, there's 1.6 million of those, right? So,
But that's nothing. And that's nothing. And you can look in every country and it's like even United States with like 60,000 tests. It's like nothing. There's nowhere.
So the thing about having this stability in this product and the testing and to be on the front end of it in North America, I mean, that's why I don't sleep. It's like, so I always tell people they've got this network of physicians all across Europe, spans 50 countries. I don't know how many there are, but there's thousands of them. Okay. You go to one of those physicians, they're going to test on the front end, they're going to do the oil, they're going to retest, and that's what they do. I said, we get to build that. Somebody has to build that network here. Now, how many will be in that network? It's huge numbers. So to me, it's the dream opportunity of a lifetime. And it's God's plan was bigger than our plan. That's it.
I love that. So here you are, have rebuilt more than one company, and you're starting over again, and now you're working on even building bigger third and fourth legs, but you're out recruiting, you're out talking to people, you can feel the excitement through the screen here. But now a lot of people are going to be saying, you had so many companies that quit and quit and quit. What do you see for the future of Zinzino? Because you're building hard. You're building hard, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that if I didn't have complete and total confidence. I mean, it's such a rarity because you can find a young startup company in the industry and you can build away at it. The odds of it, they don't have an Orion. There's not a dog. There's not a leadership team. It don't exist. it's all about the leadership and the vision of the lead and where they're going. And so that's where it's a legacy company. And so there
I
are
like
such
that.
things as legacy companies. I mean, you go back to some of the big companies that are out there, first family built it, and then the kids were able to come in and build, and grandkids. I mean, there are some this is one of those legacy. I mean, this is something that my kids could come into if they're called to do it, and they could go build this thing. And because it's a worldwide market and there's so many people in the world, there's plenty of marketplace out there. There's no such thing as penetration or saturation. And so as long as people have inflammation, I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, we've been feeding the US population. I call it this gumbo, the processed foods, the seed oils, the GMOs, the pharmaceutical drugs. It's like this inflammation gumbo, and everybody's elevated. And now we get to go out and navigate this. So, yeah, the thing that creates more fire than anything for me is to be able to meet new people and tell the story. That is my fuel. And I love to live in that. And so I don't do well not talking to people and not, I got to. And so I will every day, my whole goal is to meet somebody to where I can meet them, make a new friend, and tell the story. That process has been my life, and it's what I'll do forever.
Well, I love that. So what is your goal? Where do you see Zinzino in 10 years? Where do you see yourself? Do you have I know you've always set goals. So what is your specific goal?
Well, 100K a month in income to just get to want to hit that mark,
Mm-hmm.
whatever ranks that is. I've never, I just know that I don't know details of the products. I don't know details of the comp plan. My Google Earth view is always, if I do this meeting people, making friends, and tell the story, it has never failed me. This goes back to this Mark Yarnell philosophy. If I go recruit 100 distributors to sell Nordic oil and to test people, it will turn into tens of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's going to take work, and we have to let people know. Yeah, you can definitely make it.
if that's what you call work, I mean,
Yeah, this is fun.
I
I don't
think
call it work either, but it is. It does take time
well,
talking to people.
here's the frustrating part, okay, to the business naturally, is that we deal with people, and it's a numbers game. I mean, it's just that. So, we kiss a lot of frogs. And so that's why every appointment's not just great and everybody joins and everybody buy. No, there's patience required. That's why it's such a visionary business though, because if you don't have the bigger picture vision of, I'm going to go recruit 100 and it's going to turn into tens of thousands and I'm going to make a little bit off everybody. That's why people that make big commissions in sales, it's a hard transition from, well, what do I make when I sell one of these things? Well, you make it like 10 cents, okay, or whatever. But it's not what you make, it's what you're going to make 10 to 30% of what you personally make, but you're going to make 5 to 10% of an organization. It takes a while to build an organization. So you got to have a vision of the big picture. But the fruit that comes from that big picture, that reoccurring solid residual that gives you time freedom to do the things you like to do. I mean, I've raised my kids with time freedom.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. I think you told me, how long have you lived off of just commissions from a company?
Oh, my whole life, from 22, since I was 22 years old. I mean, I've been commissioned. I've never had anything but commissions.
Wow. So that's huge because a lot of people when they think of direct sales, they might think, oh, it's an extra $500 a month, a little bit a month. But we're talking, you can decide whatever you want if you do the work it takes to get there, meeting the people. So what would you say is what would you say the top things that you've learned of all of your experience that is going to get somebody to the president level? Because that's your next level. I know you're going to be that soon. So you're just like, what do people need to do to get to their next level? What should they be learning? What would you wish you would have known early on?
Well, and this is what I appreciate about Orion, because he always takes us here in every time he speaks, because he knows this is what our heart needs to hear, is we got to get out of the details and out of the little thinking and out of the, all the little stuff. And we got to be it's about our dreams. It's about our dreams and our goals for our family and our future has to be. I mean, every day, Carla, I spend time in three areas. One is subconscious mental training through a guy by the name of Dr. Joseph Murphy. He's like the founder of subconscious mental training. And then I spend time with
Is that like a meditation type thing that you're doing?
I listen to his stuff on YouTube. Yeah.
Mhm.
And because the subconscious and the conscious, man, that is a huge thing here.
The ant
I
and
mean,
the elephant. We love
what we see, what we believe, yeah. And then visualization of my goals and dreams, spending time on visualizing those things,
it.
and then positive affirmations. So those three categories every day, it's like I physically work out every day and I mentally work out every day in those three categories. And I mean,
A lot
that's
of
what
people
keeps.
don't get that because a lot of people think you just do and do the meetings, do the meetings. But the personal development, you said it too when you met somebody that was like he had things together in every area of his life because he had done the personal development and that's what attracted you to start being a better you. So by
He,
you doing the subconscious and the conscious and working on all of that, you are building you because you can't build a team unless you have somebody, I mean, that's going to be wanting to follow you. You can't.
you got to cast vision. I
Mm,
mean, I'm driving like 4 hours tomorrow to meet with one guy because I like this guy and I want to recruit this guy. And I'm going to be the only way that's going to attract a guy like this is vision casting. It's not a little thing. It's got to be a big thing. And being honest, I mean, if I wasn't doing this for a living,
Okay, so I want to hear what you say about vision casting because we've talked about it in our team too, a little bit about so many people talk products and products because they are great products and they are life-changing products. But the biggest thing in regards to recruiting is exactly that. So what are some of those key things that you mention
yeah,
that are vision casting things?
I tell them what I'm going to build, and I paint a picture about what I'm going to build, and how they can be with me now. They can be here early. I mean, it's one of these things where in a binary you can build, you can help people a lot.
Mhm.
And so, no, it's like it's that vision. And I always throw out the number 10,000 physicians in Europe that are doing this, and it's new to North America. So somebody has to build the network of medical professionals in the U.S. And it's the truth, Carla. I mean, there are thousands of medical professionals in Europe doing this. There will be more in the US. Somebody's got to build that network. And so I'm obsessed with it.
Well, I know you got a passion to be doing it. Okay, so we talked about where you're going. You have set your goals. Where do you see Zinzino then in about 10 years or 20 years? What do you see as
Well,
Zinzino?
here's the beauty of our industry is that these things happen like critical mass. So right now, take the US for example. In the US, it's so young, everybody can call themselves founders because of the timing of the company and the production, the whole thing in the US. We're all founders. It's harder for the founders than any other group. It just is. You look at anything, look at the disciples. I mean, they were all murdered for being founders, right? I mean, it's hard being the founders, taking a vision out there, being the first ones to start this personalized testing and eliminate inflammation, all this stuff, right? This our message.
But that's
So
why the subconscious and the affirmations really do matter because having that belief and knowing that you know
That's
that
it.
this is where you're going, and then people can feel that posture in you. So if people need to, they might need to be listening and doing some affirmations. Even Orion says he stands and looks in that mirror uh,
Yeah.
to get
He's,
his.
he's the master of that stuff, the master of it. And he lives by it. You can tell.
Mhm.
And you also get to see the manifestation of it because he was doing this stuff 20 years ago. And look at where he is and what he has. So you can look at that and say, yeah, I want what he's got. I'm going to do what he does, right? So back to founders have it hard. So you got to embrace that. To say, yeah, it's hard, but we're the founder. Because here's what happens for founders is you build a team and they build a team and they build a team and you reach this critical mass of people. And when it hits critical mass, there's a tipping point, and there's so many people that are talking to people now. It's just like it just goes on its own.
Mhm.
And now your business is going and going and going. So you get to live that, experience that, get the fruit of that. It's so worth it. But you got to be able to see it, and you got to be able to believe it and not get caught down into the day to day. So Joey didn't buy from me. I guess this thing's not going to work. Right.
Mhm. But
You,
have that goal. I think some of the things that I'm taking away is just know your goal. Know you
well,
can build it and keep building up yourself along the way. Plan it in a lot of action because I know you're doing lots of action
much as
and
I can. Yeah.
keep going. And
And
don't get down in the dumps when things are dumpy. Just keep
that's
going.
why that's why the list for me, the list of 1 to 100, I know from this past experience that I've had,
Mhm.
every time I've made a list of 1 to 100 and said, I'm going to go find 100 people who agree with my message and want to do this with me. That's my accountability, is my trip to 100. And I know that if I do this trip to 100, it's going to turn into tens of thousands of people. It always has.
And that's the facts. I mean, and that's what it is. We keep sharing and the duplication will come. You just need to do things that are duplicatable. Tell more people who tell more people who tell more people, and you'll have those thousands and thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. I know
Well,
personally, I've set a goal of having 1 million in a team, and I know it's going to happen.
it
No doubt.
will. It'll happen, guarantee you. Hey, and the benefit too is we've got things like what you're doing here. This feeds people along the way. It helps people's belief system. So all the tools and the videos, that's the other thing about having the 20-year-old company. Lots of resources. So anytime somebody's belief system is a little down, I can pull up a Carla video of one day. I mean, there's so many resources now that I don't have to stay down. I can connect to something to build my belief system back up. And getting to events are a mandatory. Anybody building anything has to be at events. It just has to. And we got our next one coming up in Houston. So I'm building massively. That's my only focus in life, as to how many new people who have not been to an event yet, new people are going to get to Houston and see what we see for the first time. Because until they get to an event, Carla, it's really hard to see. It's just the truth. So we got to bring these people along until we can get them in front of a big picture. And then the big picture always delivers, right?
Absolutely. And we need people to realize it's the 5th and 6th of June. So if you are anywhere near it, or I know some of you are calling in from all over the world, maybe you know somebody in the United States. I don't care. You want people at that event and it will sell out. Telling you now, it will sell out. We're going to be putting more people in those seats. And again, this is the founders group. So we're heading in it. Yeah. So, Brad, last question here for you. What are you most excited about right now?
My next meeting.
Okay. I like it. I like it. And I think if everybody just thinks they don't have to plan everything, but just keep planning that next meeting. Just keep
Hey, I'll give you an example. So yesterday I recruited a doc that I had been dripping on since the beginning. So I've been here, however long it's been. And he finally, things in his life, yada, 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 boom. So yesterday he enrolled with me. And then we started to talk about who he was going to put me in front of. And I love when people introduce me to the people they know. I mean, it's just the best, right? And so there's nothing like a new recruit who's got new people to meet, This business is so much fun when you're moving in that. It's not fun when you don't have a new recruit or when you don't have people introducing you. So the way to climb out of that not having fun is you got to go get a new person that's like-minded about the picture. And it gives you new life. It's amazing. But here's the crazy part. It's such a fine line. It's like somebody, I see people quit because of whatever reason, right? And it's like what they could have had, right? What they could have had. So it's the mental, it's the thinking, it's the vision. It's such a mental business. I think it is with sports business. They're really paralleled with, what you see, I've spent my life. I didn't study when I was in school. I did all my studying after school, and I've got hundreds of books, all personal development, all people stories. My kids reading Think and Grow Rich now for the first time, and my entire education is based on everything we're talking about here: the subconscious, the visualization, the affirmations, the dreams, the goals, because anybody can achieve anything if they believe it, right? So it's so much
Whether you
really.
think you can or think you can't, you're right. So that's why you're doing the personal development. That's why you're doing the affirmations, because you need to know that you can build this. Everybody can build it. And if anybody's in doubt, the answer is yes, you can. So quit. Well, Brett, it has been fun to learn your story. I think people should be hearing all of these stories, because to hear that you went through all of these companies and are now this excited about building Zinzino and saying it's an opportunity unlike any other, is exciting for me too, who's been in the company for 16 years, because I totally believe I'm probably more excited now than I have been in the first 16 years. I'm more excited about the next 16 years and where we're going with this together and with now all of these companies. So thank you for taking the time. I know you're super busy. I know you're good. You're out there recruiting. So thank you for taking the time to be on. I so appreciate you.
Thank you, Carla. I can't thank you enough. I mean, I got to say one thing about what you're doing here. It not only is you do have a direct effect on the people that you know, but the indirect effect, the numbers of people that you affect in a positive way. Perfect. Beautiful. You're doing a great thing. You're going to be blessed big time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for what we're doing. The whole Zinzino family benefits greatly and stays inspired, and they keep their belief system up because of what you do.
Well, thank you. I totally believe in Zinzino. I believe in Orion and Hilda. I believe in Dog. I believe that what we're doing together is really making a difference. And the effect that we will have around the world is what keeps me motivated to keep going day after day after day. And yeah, we go up and down, have lots of things, but I'm excited to keep my eye on the future because I know where we're going. Not in doubt. Locking arms with people like you, dear, moving forward. So thanks so much. I'm going to let everybody unmute and open it up here so we can share here. So thanks so much, everybody, for joining. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Carla.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you,
Thank you,
Brad.
Carla. Thank you,
Thanks,
Brett.
Brad.
Thanks from
Thanks,
North
Carla.
Dakota, Brad.
Great job, Brad.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carla.
Bye, guys. See you next week.